Great. And then I'm going to start the webinar. Are you all ready? Yeah?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Let's get started. Excellent. So welcome, everyone, as you're joining. I see the numbers going up. Excellent. I hope you can hear me. If you cannot hear me, it means something's going on with the audio, because both Sam and Antonio can hear me. So I have a nod there. Great. And if you, basically, if your audio is not working, try and see what's wrong. Maybe rejoin the webinar. Welcome, everyone. Excellent. So welcome to our webinar today. We will start, I would say, right now. So welcome to our webinar today, our tutorial, I would say a demo with Antonio and Visio around mastering your scientific writing. I'll do a little bit of housekeeping first, and then we'll kick off with some questions. Well, some icebreakers, I would say. So, all right, so let's see. So housekeeping, I already said, do check that you can hear us. I am speaking. And if you we have the Q&A open. So if you have any questions, please do use the Q&A box. We'll answer some during the session, and also we'll answer at the end any of the questions that Antonio can pick up. And then also, if we don't get to answer any of your questions, which I'm sure you have loads, we will try to do that in a follow-up with the recording. And we are recording this webinar. I have it written that it will be emailed out tomorrow, but considering it's Friday tomorrow, I'd say, like, give us some leeway. You'll probably have this on Monday. So yeah, welcome again. So we'll go to our questions now. So I am curious to find out how far you're all in your project. So let me put in this Menti. Yeah. Oh, hello from Namibia. Excellent. Oh, wow.
Nice.
We have a great
Colorado. I lived in Colorado.
Yeah.
Yes. Go Rams.
Amazing.
Go Rams.
So tell us as you're joining, please do join the Menti. I'm gonna put it in there again, and tell us how far you are in your writing project. Maryland, Canada, wow, Ghana, Chile, San Diego.
Nepal.
San Diego must be nice.
Vancouver, China, Arkansas, yeah, Indonesia, Mongolia, I guess.
All right, so someone is still thinking and planning. I'm gonna share the link again as people are joining. Jordan, Poland, Algeria, Hungary, Portugal. Oh, someone from Brazil. That's you, Antonio.
Yeah, that's me. Uruguay.
Okay,
Let's go. Ukraine.
I'll share the link again because I know it's hard to scroll through. Oh, everyone. Here it is.
Nice. We have a university professor that's teaching a course on a PhD. Nice. That's awesome. Nigeria, awesome.
Yeah. I wonder, we might touch upon how students can use this. Great. Still thinking and planning is the winner. Some people are in first draft. Oh, I want to say congratulations to the 3 people that are responding to reviewer comments.
That's me. Just to do the context, guys, I'm also finished my PhD. I already had my paper submitted. a lot of
Well,
this is going to come into
and
how
you're using Visio, I presume.
Of course, of course, of course.
Excellent. Okay, let's go to the next question now. So the next question is really, well, what are your biggest challenges or blockers as you're kind of working through your writing process and thinking of what you wanna do? But also I see a lot of people are teaching PhD students or teaching methods, or if you're a PhD student, so what are maybe you're a PhD student teaching undergrads, what do you think are the challenges and blockers of your students right now as well? Starting, okay, yes. Aren't we all there?
PhD student from Madagascar. That's awesome.
Too much information, perfectionism, yes. But time is definitely keeping going. Book chapter boundaries. Supervisors, oh, I'm curious to find out more about that. Timing and starting are the biggest blockers. Catching up with the new literature. Oh yes, that is a big thing. Given like how many articles get published in a month, or time constraints, too much information. Yeah.
Yeah, too much information reminds me of a song by the Police that is called Too Much Information. Too much information running through my brain. Yes.
How old is it? Is it
the song?
Is it a classic?
Is that, I think it's from 87, 88.
Oh,
it's one of the last the Police albums. I really like this. It's called Too Much Information. It's a very good song.
It kind of like it's holding up through time.
Yes.
Becoming more and more relevant. Like
yes.
aging.
Imagine Sting was saying that he had too much information running through his brain like in 87. Imagine now when it's going through his head in 2023, the amount of information that I have now.
Yes. Okay. I will stop sharing. Thank you so much for engaging at the beginning as we were waiting for folks to join. I think we're pretty much stable at a stable number now. So I'll stop sharing and hand over to Antonio.
All right. So let me do my magic here. All right, everyone. Just let me know if you guys can see my screen, if you guys can see what I am presenting. All right. So first of all, I want to thank everyone. Let's go back to the beginning. I want to thank everyone for being here. I see a lot of people are interested in science after all, and that's very good. And they're intrigued by the fact that AI can help us in some way. And I'm really glad that at some point you guys are interested in a solution that uses AI to help scientists. And I'm gonna bring you some background on how to use Visio.app, on how to pronounce the name of the platform. I know there's a lot of people calling Visio, which is like the W that you use from Germany, which is in Germany. Usually you say a W with like is a V. In Brazil, we also do that too, so don't worry about it. And I also gonna give you some background on how I came to the conclusion that I need to create a tool that could use that. And I'm gonna share a bit of my experience as a researcher and how I created a tool to help our peers. So Visio.app is a platform where you can use AI to help you write science in general.
Antonio, sorry to interrupt. We see your browser with Conecta Startup Brazil. I think we're seeing a different screen, maybe than what you're intending.
Oh, let me do it again.
Perfect.
Right. Where everything's in plain sight, right? Nice. So just a little background about me. I quickly noticed that I'm using the same shirt. My name is Antonio. I'm from Brazil. I have a master's degree in auto health. I have a PhD. I'm finishing a PhD in biotechnology. And throughout the last 10 to 12 years, I published more than 30 papers internationally. I worked as a reviewer for journals, a lot of things, like a lot of journals like Scientific Reports, BMC Nephrology, Psychophysiology, which is a SAGE journal, Journal of Personalized Medicine, and lots of other papers journals that don't fit here. So I worked my way through academia as a student. So I started as an undergrad, and then I jumped to the master's degree, and then from the master's degree directly up to the PhD. So I also teach the undergrads. I spent 4.5 years as a professor in a private university here in my city. So I advise a lot of students. So I pretty much understand the entire picture, from advising, from teaching, from writing, and I pretty much understand how science is made in the world right now and the problems that we face. Throughout right at the end of my master's, I decided to become even more dedicated to technology. That's why I decided to become a web developer. That's what I do for a living now. I'm a web developer. And I was always interested in AI before the AI hype happened last year. So my PhD, I developed a machine learning algorithm in which we figure out and we interpret EKG signals, and from these EKG signals we extract an analysis called heart rate variability, and from that analysis we feed a machine learning model to understand, based on training, who has high risk for cardiovascular disease and who has not. So based on that, that's how I mixed knowledge and AI and physiology and research and overall. So I've been through the thing for a long time now. So the big problem that Visio.app solves, it was a personal problem, right? And I believe a lot of you here in the chat, here in the meeting, also share that it's a lot of things to figure out and a lot of things to do at the same time while writing paper. So scientists struggle in effectively communicating their scientific ideas, mainly through writing. And people from countries where English is not the primary language, is not the first language, it's even harder. So we have a gigantic gap between countries that speak English as their first language and countries that don't. So effectively communicating with our peers and making sure that ideas are actually being understood out there, it's very hard. So grammatical errors, failure to proper cite resources, poor translation, lots of poor translations, lack of editing, passive voice, inconsistent use of tense. So a lot of problems with writing itself are very common for people that are using tools or writing science in general that do not use, that do not have English as their first language. So this is the writing process itself, not talking about the other steps that we need to even get to the paper, which is data analysis, referencing, writing a discussion, translation, problem description, formatting. So forgetting about the experiments and ethicals and board approvals and grants. So for one person, for one scientist to write science, to get that thing out there in the public, what is the published paper, it's very hard. It takes a lot of steps and usually involves lots of people. and it is very frustrating. For example, if you're in a lab and this lab publishes frequently, you're usually gonna have the data person or the data people, or you're gonna have the lab people, you're gonna have the writing people. So usually we break that into chunks. So part of the team writes, part of the teams do the experiments, part of the teams analyze the data, because those are completely different skill sets that you need to use to write a paper. So, and we're not even talking about money, grant, and experiments and other literature and stuff like, so it's very complex to write a paper, right? So all of these problems, they haunt the researcher throughout the process. So based on that, that's why I created Visio.app. So AI has been growing a lot in the last year. So, and then when GPT-3 came out, I came to the idea, okay, so I have this problem. I need to be able to do everything as best as I can, because if you don't have a big lab, you're gonna have problems ideating and writing and making the experiments. And coming from a country that for a period of time, we didn't have a lot of money to make big and complex experiment, that became even more important. So we didn't have the money to pay for someone else to analyze the data or to buy complex and expensive materials. So we needed to be cheap and we needed to be small so we could be effective. And so I thought, well, I've seen people using AI to write blogs, to write ads. Can we use AI to help us write science? And that's the thought that I have last year. And then I started experimenting with AI, and then I realized that we could train the AI to specifically tackle some tasks. And that's why we created Visio.app. So Visio, it's basically stands on 4 pillars, which is personalized suggestions from AI based on the context and the content you're writing. You can instantly search and reference the latest findings. So you can go to PubMed, you can go to Crossref and find the latest findings around the text you're writing on. You can translate and correct grammar to scientific English. So for the countries like me that I'm in Brazil that don't use English as their first language, you're gonna have a tool that is gonna make it easier for you to write in English and correct that English you already wrote at some point. And this is new one, it's upload a PDF and get suggestions from it. So you're gonna write like in the writing style of a PDF that you upload, and you're gonna get suggestions to complete the sentences you have based on that PDF you uploaded. So it's usually very complex, but we made it very easy. So as a person who wrote a lot of papers, my biggest struggles were I think I seen on the Mentimeter, it was asked about the problems that the students face, and one of the problems it was cited was a lot of information. And I used to spend like 2 weeks reading 10, 15 papers just to write a single paragraph. And sometimes a paper was blocked for like a month because it was very hard to get the right word, the right paragraph, to take the writing in the right direction. So it's very hard to get to these conclusions. So that's why I created the Get Suggestion by AI, mainly to unblock. I really like to use the Get AI Suggestions to unblock. So you're writing a paragraph, you know that you have to write in some sort of direction, but then you stop and you get blank, you get blocked, and you go write and go read another paper, and you read another one and another one, analysis paralysis. And then you spend 1 week just to write a paragraph. That's why the AI suggestions are there. So you write just 2 or 3 lines and you don't know where else to go, and you go ask to the AI to complete the sentence, and it takes you into a direction, and you slowly keep moving. And then the AI writes something interesting, and that's interesting. There is a paper that talks about it, and then you select the text and you can find a paper that talks about it, and the thing keeps moving. So the idea of Visio.app is not to write the entire paper for you. You're not gonna just get there and write a paper for UML hypertension and it's gonna write the entire thing for you. The idea is to help scientists keep writing and to keep moving forward so you can write better and you can write faster, right? So that's pretty much the idea behind Visio.app. So in the last 6 to 8 months, we've been growing a lot. We've been featured in lots of different sites, a lot of different blogs, a lot of different channels, a lot of, I don't know if a lot of you heard, but there's YouTube videos talking about us. We have blogs talking about us. We made a release in Product Hunt a few weeks ago, and we're the #4 product of the week, which is very cool, into the educational area of Product Hunt, which shows that people are actually interested in this. We've been in tools like Filter Tools, Teacherpedia. We had universities talking about us, and we have users from all around the world, from all types of universities. So we have people from Mexico, which is the University of San Luis Potosí. We have people from Brazil. We have people from Poland, from Portugal, from IIT Madras, which is a great institution in India. We have people from University of Texas, from University of Cincinnati, people from the Imperial College, from the Teachers College in Colombia. I'm really glad from people from the Teachers College, because it's an institution that I look upon a lot. They really use science to understand how technology can help teachers and professors all around the world. So I really look upon Teachers College, University of Porto in Portugal, IIT Madras. So I'm very happy that all of these institutions and all these students and professors and head of departments are actually using Visio.app. And someone already shared the YouTube link of the video of Dr. Andrew Stapleton talking about us on YouTube. It was completely, just to make sure, it was completely out of the ordinary. I never heard about Dr. Andrew Stapleton before. He's a very cool guy doing a very good job and reviewed us very likely. So go there, go check it out. The link is, someone put that in the chat. And just to be clear, I really like to make this a statement here. Visio.app is focused on writing and referencing for science, right? A lot of people comment, so I was talking to a client, to a customer this morning, and they said, so what's the difference between Visio and ChatGPT? What's the difference between Visio and Genie AI? What is the difference between Visio and Grammarly? So mainly that Visio.app is made for scientists. I am a scientist myself. I went through the entire process, and I know how hard it is to write a thesis, to write a paper, to analyze data and stuff like this. So the tool itself is made and focused to scientists. So if you're planning on write science, so you're already on a master's, you're already a PhD, already a professor, a head of department, it doesn't matter. If you want to write science, that is the focus. Other tools like ChatGPT is general. It's going to write everything about anything. So it's not focused. It's not able to find references. It's not able to create references. We are already aware of that. Other tools like Grammarly and Genie AI are not focused on scientists. They're just grammar correctors after all. And we ourselves are focused on science. We have a lot of features coming. We have a new UI coming to improve the user experience. And we have other features in the future, like we already have something cooking for data analysis, in which you just put your data there. We're gonna do all the statistical analysis, and you're just going to get a table or a graph, and you're gonna take that table and take that graph and just put directly into Visio or into your preferred text editor, and you're gonna have data analyze for you, which is another pane. So everything that is related to science and writing science, that's what we tackle. That's what we're going for. All right. So let's take a look at the product, right? I know a lot of you already used Visio before. A lot of you have never used Visio, but anyway, I want to show everything in here. So this is the main dashboard. When you create your account, you're going to end up on this dashboard. Here you can open your past projects and you can create a new project. So if you're a premium user, you can create as many projects as you want. And we are focused on general science, right? We still have some limitations for math. We still don't support some calculations, but we are working towards that slowly and slowly, right? So you create a new project, you're gonna end up on this screen, which is the editor screen. So here, once you create a project, you're gonna get a small template in here, which you can read. It teaches how to use the platform. You can also get help. You have videos and the basic usage, how to improve suggestion, how to correct the grammar, how to translate to English. You can always go up to the top right here and ask for help, and you're gonna get the tutorial. Well, let's just get right into the action. So let's just say that you're writing about hypertension, right? I'm just gonna put it hypertension is, I'm gonna select the text, and once the text is selected, you're gonna see here in the right that you're able to use the tools. So the first one, the light bulb, is gonna get an AI suggestion for you. So it's gonna complete the text. The second one is gonna correct the grammar of the sentence you selected. The third one is gonna translate this text that you're writing into English. And the fourth one is gonna find references for you, right? So let's just start from the beginning. Hypertension is, I'm gonna select for the AI to get an AI suggestion for me. I'm gonna hit the button, it's gonna load, and it's gonna return me suggestions, right? And think about the word. That's exactly the word we meant to use, suggestion. You can use it or you cannot use it. The tool and the use of Visio.app is to help the scientists, not to replace it. So the way we're phrasing, we're organizing, it's always to help the scientists, not to replace it. Because we understand that science, it's important and something inherently human. So you're gonna have two suggestions, and you can choose whatever one you like the most. Let's say I'm going to use this one. It's a common condition that increases the risk of heart disease and stroke, hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. I like this one. I'm going to copy. You can just click on the text and it's going to copy to the clipboard, and you can just paste in here and boom, it's already there. Hypertension is a common condition that increases the risk of heart disease and stroke. Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, is a common, and it keeps going, right? So we still don't have a reference. I'm a premium user. Someone just made that question here. I'm a premium user because I'm the admin, but the tool is free to use, right? So you have a free tier. You can just go to the platform. You can create your account, and you have a free tier in which you have some limited resources, but most of the functionality is here, right? You can also upgrade. We already have a code running in the chat, which is 50% off if you upgrade using the code SAGE50, and you're gonna have 50% off of the yearly subscription. But let's find some references for this paragraph, right? You're gonna select the paragraph and you're gonna come in here and write and say find references. And it's gonna do is it's gonna extract the most important keywords from that text. It's gonna go onto PubMed, it's gonna go onto Crossref, and then you can find texts and articles that talk about the contents of that paragraph you chose, and it's going to return you the most recent papers that talk about it. Hypertension and heart failure, this is from PubMed. Hypertension and stroke in Asia, this is from 2021, 2020, 2020. So you can see it's pretty recent, right? So if you click on the link, it's going to take you to PubMed, and it's going to find you that you can hit the full paper, reach the full links and stuff like this, right? Also, you can also, okay, Antonio, but I'm not in the health field. I don't use PubMed. I own a social science. I'm a political science. I'm an economist. I'm a psychologist. I'm in an education research. So you can just come here in preferences. You switch from PubMed to Crossref, and then you search again. And then you're gonna get references based on the text that you input from Crossref. For example, experience it from hypertension trials, effects on stroke and coronary disease. So it's the same text, but instead of looking into PubMed, it's going to look into Crossref. So Crossref, it's multidisciplinary. You can search in political science and history and geography and whatever other fields you might want to that is not in the health field, which is PubMed is mainly focused on. That's why you have PubMed and Crossref, and you can choose whatever fits you best, right? And okay, so I like this here. So I like this paper, I want to cite it. Come here, select the Apple format, and you can just copy, and you can just come to the text and paste it. Boom. Here's the text. Here's a citation formatted to APA, APA, American Psychological Association. We still have a lot of other citations to add. We are working towards it. I seen someone is in the chat. Feel free to ask questions. All right, we're gonna have some time in the end to answer all of them. I'm also looking at the chat so I can keep answering some of them while I'm talking, but feel free to ask questions and we're gonna get to them in the end, right? Okay, so I don't know, let's move forward. I don't know how to write in English. So what do I do? Let's say I write here something in Portuguese, right? I don't know if someone in the chat speaks Portuguese, but I'm gonna write some Portuguese in here. So this is Portuguese. It's just saying hypertension is a cardiovascular disease. And then I'm just gonna come in here and say translate into English, right? So that's the thing. The tool always translates from other languages into scientific English, right? So Antonio, why is this? Visio is focused on international publication. So 95% of the publications in the world are written in English. So I really wanted to focus on translating this into English, right? So someone asked about the accents. It's just my keyboard. It's not that the editor doesn't support, it's just that my keyboard is in English and I don't have the accents, but it can translate anyway. So I'm just gonna come in here and say translate into English, and boom, translated. Hypertension is a cardiovascular disease that is characterized, and then it continues. I'm just gonna copy it, and I'm gonna replace it, and boom, it's translated. So Antonio, but it's already in English. Can I translate it anyway? If you do it, the AI is gonna tell you the text is already in English, so you don't need to translate it again. So if you wanted to make it a better version in English, you select the text, right? And you come into correct grammar. And you select correct grammar. And we're gonna return a suggestion, which is it removed that part and it added a little dot in the end. So it corrects the grammar, the English grammar for you. And it says, okay, so I removed that and I added that, so it improves your writing. So you can copy that. I'm gonna just replace it, and I have a better version, a better English version in here for you guys. All right. So pretty much we get an AI suggestion, correct grammar, we translate it, and we found references. So if you're a premium user, you're gonna have, as you can see here, I'm a premium user. You're gonna have a feature called the magic mode. What is the magic mode? The magic mode is a feature in which you can upload a paper, whatever paper you want in a PDF format, and you're gonna start receiving suggestions from AI based on the text you're uploading. All right, so let me show you how this works. So you're gonna get in here, and I'm just gonna really quickly, I'm just dropping a paper into this drop zone. And it's gonna say you're uploading the British Journal of Pharmacology 2018, Sound and Inflammation and IL-17 and hypertension. So I say, so you're uploading this PDF, right? And then you're gonna hit upload files. What it's gonna do is gonna analyze the PDF you just uploaded. It's gonna store this information somewhere in the database, and it's gonna do the following. Every time you get a suggestion, the suggestion is gonna be based both on the contents of the PDF, so it's very specific to what you're writing about, and on a writing style. This is very important. So let's say you're using the AI, and for some reason the AI talks about something that is unrelated to your topic. You upload a PDF about the topic you want to write about. It can be a paper. It can be a paper published by your advisor, or a paper published by yourself. Or you can upload a project. You can upload a thesis. Whatever PDF that talks about the context that you want the AI to help you write about, you upload, we extract the information, and the AI is gonna be better in writing about the content and the writing style. So it's gonna write in the same style that the PDF you're uploading. And why is this? Mainly because writing in a specific style that is going to be published is very hard. So if you have some sort of template or some sort of advisor, which is the magic mode, that is going to help you write in a specific, already accepted, published style, it's very easier for you to be published better in the future, right? So there it is. You're going to have the PDF. You come in here, know the project's context, and it's going to say, this article, here the PDF you uploaded, talks about scientific research on the role of salt and inflammation and cardiovascular health. Boom, exactly what the PDF we uploaded talks about. So let's now continue this paragraph in here. As you can see, the magic mode is here shining, so it's on. I can turn it off and turn it on at any time I want to. So I'm just gonna select this text in here, and magic mode is on, and I'm gonna get an AI suggestion. And it completes the sentence. So hypertension is a cardiovascular disease characterized by high blood pressure, and it remains a major global health concern affecting more than 1 billion people worldwide. Awesome. It's completing the sentence based on the text that was present on the article and the writing style. So it gives me a very good beginning to it, right? So let's do it again. Let's see what else he writes about. Hypertension is a complex condition with undefined etiology. That's 100% correct. And despite decades of research, blood pressure remains uncontrolled in up to 50% of some hypertensive population. That's a very good statement, right? Let's talk about it. I'm just going to remove this reference in here. Probably this reference that he's citing, it's from the paper that is looking for, all right? So I'm just going to remove it because I'm not 100% sure, right? This the problems with the AI, we're dealing with it. So as you can see, we have a way better curated, focused writing style that is talking about exactly what I want. It's a general term that is very specific article, very specific terms. You can see the writing style and the quality of these suggestions are way better. But can I write about something else? Yeah, you can just come in here, turn the magic mode off, and select the text, and you're gonna get another suggestion. But instead of using the PDF as a basis, it's gonna look for more general scientific information about the topic. And you can continue working with another suggestion as you move forward, right? Okay, so that's pretty much how the magic mode works, right? So if you don't have any PDF specifically, if you're not looking anything specifically based on a context of a PDF, you always have this left bar in here, which is the fine tuning bar, in which you can select the article type that you want to write about. It can be an original article, a systematic review, or a review, right? By default, it writes for original articles, but if you want to write a review, cool. You can choose the tone. It can be scientific, it can be informative, it can be opinionated, or it can be academic. By default is always scientific. And you can add keywords. So let's say I want to talk about specific keyword. So when I want to talk about hypertension, I write the word and then I hit enter. I want to talk about heart rate, and I want to talk about inflammation. I'm gonna hit save. The sidebar closes, which says that we saved those suggestions. And now you can even have more tailored suggestions based on what you're writing. All right. So that's basically the foundation of the app. It can be very useful if you're starting a project, if you're ending a project, if you already have something, if you already bring something to the table and you just want to rewrite it, want to complete it. The free users have limits on how many suggestions and how many references it can ask to the AI. Sorry about that. And also the free users have a limit on the size of the prompts that can ask the AI. The free users can get 200 characters prompts, and the premium users can have up to 500 prompts, right? Antonio, why you added those limits? Again, because we don't want, it's not the aim of the platform for you to come in here and say, write this, and that, and it spit out a gigantic entire paper. And we also don't want you to come with an entire introduction or with an entire paper and say, rewrite this for me into another format. So those are the ethical boundaries we can discuss a little bit in the last 15 minutes. So the idea of Visio.app is to help the scientists. We already have a lot of other features coming in. As I mentioned, we are already working on a feature which is going to analyze your data. We are already working on a new UI, which is more optimized for smaller screens, more beautiful with dark mode. A lot of people ask me for dark mode. They don't want to look into light all day. And I want to thank you all very much for being here. Let's open this last 15 minutes for any questions you might have. I have already received a lot. I've already read a lot in here in the chat and are ready for them. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Antonio. So do you want to pick up, I know you've mentioned that you can kind of get articles from Crossref and so on, but do you want to talk a little bit about the most common question we've just received, which is, does it work for social sciences, political science, clinical psychology, economics, finance, business. I presume it does, but is there anything you want to add about that?
It does. It works for any area of scientific knowledge. If it's scientific, it's going to be recognized. We train the AI on a large corpus of scientific work, ranging from any area. So you can get any suggestion from any area, no problems. The addition of Crossref, it was also focusing on those because I'm from the health field, right? I'm from cardiovascular disease, heart rate variability. And the first two I thought of, we need to integrate PubMed into this. And then people from political science, from history, from business started joining. And okay, so I don't use PubMed. Can you help? How can I find references? That's why I added Crossref, which is multidisciplinary. You can find any papers, any books, any chapters. You can find theses, you can find dissertations, anything you can find on Crossref to suit your needs if you're not in the health research area. So it is suited for other areas as well.
And so my understanding is that Crossref has abstracts even for kind of paywalled articles and books and so on. So
as well as PubMed.
Cool.
So this is completely dependent on the platforms themselves. So PubMed shows a lot of free full articles, but not all. So you can hit a paywall. It really depends on where you come in, which journal you're looking into. But in the end, it's going to take you, for example, from PubMed, it's going to take you to the PubMed page of that specific article. And on Crossref, it's going to take you to the Crossref page of that specific article or book. And if it's a paywall or not, unfortunately, we still don't have this power. Maybe in the future.
So the next popular question is around kind of bullying. And I guess I can see here how to avoid academic bullying when using AI in research. I mean, this is a very kind of a more meta question.
What does it mean, academic bullying? Like avoiding, what does it mean?
Okay, while we wait for Khaled to add some more notes in the chat, I think there were some other questions around plagiarism kind of related.
This is a very interesting question. I spent like 30-40 minutes talking to a customer, to a user in the morning. I really like talking to the customers to understand what they're thinking about. He was studying in the United States and turning in, it's very common. I think in the UK, turning in is very common. And they were afraid that Turnitin could detect the text that is coming from the AI. Just to be clear, I can even share two articles. One is from a journal from Sage that it's very specific, it's very clear about it, that there is no way that AI can detect the text itself. So such things as AI detectors, they're not as effective as they claim to be, mainly for some reasons. One, AI only produces, any AI, any LLM, specifically ours, only produce original content. So for example,
so it's like a predictive thing. It doesn't like, because it's based on probabilities and statistics and whatnot. So it doesn't copy exactly. It's not like a search engine that copies exactly the words from kind of a text.
Perfect, exactly. So it's predictive, and it's not gonna copy the text from other people's work, and it's gonna paste in here. It's gonna create, it's gonna predict what is the next word, what is the next character, and you end up with the text that is completely original. So if you go ahead and write anything, I can even do this, and go to any plagiarism detector in here. Let me just remove this. I don't know, I'm just gonna write plagium. I know I use this a lot, plagium. I don't know what you guys use in the UK. And you can say for a quick search, is not going to detect any plagiarism, because what plagiarism tools does is they take that piece of text and look for that exactly piece of text if it's present in any other tools.
Yeah.
If this exact text is present or not. We have a small, like 20%, as you can see here, is 20.5%, which is acceptable. Usually 25 to 30% is considered acceptable. Anything above that is considered unacceptable. So it's going to be into this general text is going to be more present, but more specific text is going to be like 0.5 or 2%. So there's no way it can be placed as plagiarism. And on AI detectors, it's even worse, because there's a lot of studies already that show that the AI cannot detect the text itself created. So tools like GPT-0 or Turnitin AI detector, they have a precision of around 55 to 60%, which is almost chance, which is almost 50-50. So there's even a publication from the Washington Post, which is very famous, went viral in the last months, in which they tested that Turnitin AI detector in mixed text created by the journalists and by students and text created by ChatGPT, and it was not able to detect. In certain moments it detected, in other moments it flagged AI content as original, and it flagged original content as AI generated. So it's like taking and flipping a coin. So I don't know, it's controversial.
Yeah, I would say like we go with like with the tried and tested. If you've used anything to generate text or to help you write, you always do a check, you always do an edit. Obviously as a student, like you cannot just submit something that was generated. You have to do those edits. So kind of applying your critical thinking and going.
Yes.
And so related to that, there's a question around, well, how do you cite Visio? So let's say if you write a paper or you use Visio as kind of to help you write your paper, do you cite it?
That's a very good question. I'm in the process of resubmitting my PhD paper. And I was looking for a journal. And the journal specifically cited, I even posted that on my Twitter. It's not a Sage paper, but it's on a Elsevier journal. And it's very clear. I think Sage also does that too. It says you should not cite any AI tool as an author or as a reference. What you can do is you can, in the methods or in the acknowledgement, say the X tool was used to improve writing or to find references, but you don't cite it as a reference and you don't cite it as an author. And I think this is pretty much what all editors and all journals are looking for. If you use AI, they ask for you to be honest and say, okay, we used AI, but we use AI for grammar correction, for reference finding, for completion, but you don't cite it as you would cite a blog or a website, and you don't say it's an author. That's basically it.
So just to come back, as Khaled has shared a bit more information about what the bullying means. So it's essentially related to the fact that some people kind of are resistant to others that are using easier ways to do research, or kind of, then, if you do something that's easier or more efficient, then you're not perceived as, I don't know, as doing robust research, I guess.
Okay. That's an interesting question. I've been collecting feedbacks from users, and I had some users being canceling their subscriptions because they're afraid of being caught by Turnitin, and users saying that they're using it kind of hiding from their supervisors because the supervisor do not want to use those AI tools. And there's a famous case in Brazil in which a PhD student had to go into the court to prove to the program that he was not using AI. because one of the people in the board affirmed that he was using AI, and that ChatGPT confirmed that this text was generated by himself, so he hadn't gone to court. I think this is not a question of how to deal with it. I think it's a question of time. Other tools like Microsoft Word, when it was firstly introduced, people were like fighting over them because the way of writing papers was using the typing machine, and the way you used to create graphs or the way you used to make your Western blot in the lab is different now. And I think it's a question of time. Usually technologies, when they're groundbreaking, there's a saying that says good technology is not different. You cannot differentiate good technology from magic. I think we're in a moment where AI, it's so groundbreaking, it's so different that looks like magic, and people are gonna have resistance. So I think we're in a stage, and we have to face it upwards, and we have to talk to people. Look, this is no different, at least Visio.app, I'm being honest. Visio.app is no different than Microsoft Word. Visio.app is no different than Mendeley. It's no different than EndNote. It's here to help the scientists. It's not here to replace any of them. And this has been proven time to time and time again. So Mendeley did not kill the librarians. Word did not kill the typewriters. As Visio not gonna kill, and any AI is not gonna kill the scientists. So it's a question of time. People are gonna slowly accept it. Of course, not everyone's gonna be upfront and acceptable to new tools like that. But if we are honest and we're being truthful to science, I think everyone at a certain point is going to use it. I still have to fight with my advisor that uses Word 97, and I have to be converting back my paper to doc instead of docx, so he can open his Microsoft Word. This is always going to happen.
There are a lot of questions, and I think we have only about 3 minutes left. So I was wondering maybe if you can go over some of the more, I would say maybe technical questions. So there is something around what's the difference between the $9 versus the $16 subscription. There are questions around data privacy, and also someone's interested in an institutional license, and finally image and like analyzing images and data. So is that in there or in the plans?
That's my dream. I really want to get images and interpret those images. For example, you receive a graph, you take a graph from a paper, you put in here and say, please analyze this image for me. And it's going to say, okay, this image talks about this, and that. Depending on the graph, it's very complex, but I still don't have access to APIs that do that, mainly GPT-4 that analyzes images. We're working towards it, but we're like running by the side of the horse. So if the API is not there yet, we're not able to get access. So it's a thing that we have to wait, because the technology is advancing. And even though the ChatGPT can do that, the API they offers this for business users is still not there yet. That's why we don't have it yet. Regarding data privacy, I receive this question a lot. We have people from institutions and public government agencies all around the world, and we don't store any data other than the thing that you're writing. So if you're writing something, we are only saving that so you can come back and have it saved. For example, if you make a prompt and you put some data, we don't store that data to retrain our AI model. We don't store the PDF you uploaded for now. We don't store it. So the only thing that is stored is the content that is written. We don't get that data to retrain an AI model to be better. All the data, it's private to your project. You can go at any time you want, delete the project. You're not going to lose anything. We're not going to lose anything. We're totally open about it, because we know there's scientific breakthroughs. There are data from public agencies that need to be kept private. We don't use those. We don't use this data to train our model. And oh, about the $9 versus $16. The $9 version is what we call a yearly subscription. It's $9 a month because you pay one fee upfront. So you pay $109, $109. And if you break down into 12 months, it gets to $9 a month. It's just, I think it's 55% cheaper. And if you pay month by month, you pay $16. But the features, your premium anyways. You're gonna have everything you have now and all the features from the future.
We are on time, and there are a bunch more questions. And so some of them like more meta, more philosophical. Maybe we'll try, Antonio, and see if we can answer any of them later. And some questions around pricing, which we can pick up. But I just want to say thank you so much for the demo and for showing us how Visio works. I hope some of you are coming out of this a little bit more inspired, a little bit more confident that you can use this and kind of improve and edit your paper and your writing. And yes, we will be sending a recording, and we will be trying to send some answers to some of these questions, which are great. And yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, Antonio, for your time.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget, you guys have been here, have 50% on the premium subscription. Danielle already shared it to you. Thank you very much. And feel free to come into chat and ask anything. I'll be open to it. Bye-bye.
Bye, all.